So when an EV promises to, oh, I don't know, improve my life, that catches my attention. On the other hand, when an EV promises to entertain me, that's when I get skeptical. It feels a bit like a sales tactic. And I know some of you have been burned in the past by EVs that have promised to replace something that ultimately you found out did not need replacing. And that's my biggest fear with the GMC Sierra EV Denali that's behind me. Let's go for a drive. What I want out of an electric pickup truck is simply a truck that does truck things and that looks kind of normal. And if you looked at it on the road, there's no stereotype associated with it. And you can't pinpoint, who drives the pickup truck, right? When I look at a Rivian, yeah, you're a tech bro. You definitely watch the entire new iPhone launch, and that is your first pickup truck. That's what Rivian says to me. Now, that might not be the case for everybody, but that's what it says to me, right? The Cybertruck, that says what it says. We don't even have to talk about that. And the Silverado EV, GM's other electric pickup truck, also does this, but a little bit more subtly, okay? It's definitely a throwback to the Chevy Avalanche. First off, they've ditched the Avalanche look back there. It looks great. It looks like your typical GMC Sierra, just with a little bit more kind of future flavor added to it, if you could call it that. Should the Sierra be replaced, or more specifically, should you replace your gas-powered or diesel-powered Sierra with the EV, right? It's got to have features that aren't gimmicks that make it easier to live with on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to get into a lot of those, but the biggest one is range. And this is in the top 3 longest range EV pickup trucks on the market today. Not only that, but all of these pickup trucks are effectively the longest range EVs on the market. This one has a giant 205 kilowatt hour battery. They're all dual motor. This one I'm driving today is the max range model. You can get an extended range, and then there's the standard range, which is new for this model year, 2026, and that should do 455 kilometers of range. This one I'm in today is rated for 770 kilometers of range, or 478 miles. Wow. And when you download the My General Motors app, you're able to see how far you could go on a single charge, or whatever your charge level is at. So this morning at 98%, the map told me I would have been able to go from Vancouver to Seattle and back on a single charge, or Vancouver to Kelowna and back on a single charge. That's pretty good. So that's one thing this has over, okay, it doesn't have it over a diesel-powered Sierra. You can go further on diesel still. In that case, charging speed is crucial. This one will get up to 350 kilowatts. Granted, you can even find a charger that does that. I tried and I failed, despite along the way feeling the satisfaction of charging a truck here that doesn't start with the word cyber. As long as you have the adapter, the entire Tesla network is open to you. 177 kilowatts was the quickest I saw though. Will that speed get better with software updates? I'm not sure. I then drove to Kelowna and back, stopping at a Petro-Canada 350 kilowatt charger, only to find 148 kilowatts. Even on an 8-hour freeway drive though, with both heated seats and AC battling it out, we were on track to hit at least 635 kilometers on a full charge. The Denali Max range gets a bunch of stuff that the standard Sierra EV doesn't get. And one of those, the most important in my eyes, is the adaptive air suspension. So in entry exit mode, it gets real low, and then you can adjust it so it goes up to 2 inches higher than the standard ride height. It's pretty awesome. They have also added, on a side note, a AT4 trim for this model year. They also added the base model elevation. So the downside to all of this range, wow, is 8,800 pounds or thereabouts of weight. It's huge. Now, the air suspension does a really good job of sorting everything out. I'm convinced now, after driving this, even with, putting my drive mode into the tour suspension setting, which is great, especially if you're not going to be punching it. I'm convinced no amount of damping can really properly provide body control for a vehicle this heavy. It does pretty well. It, you know, put it in tour and it irons out a ton of the small stuff. But like bigger bumps, the body's just going to be moving wherever the inertia and G-forces take it. And that's just a kind of trade-off. You know, you get into a Yukon Denali and it feels significantly lighter than this. I think they ride a little bit better, but it's not terrible. It's just know that, yeah, it feels like a 9,000 pound vehicle. This is the heaviest vehicle I've ever driven by a long shot. Okay, let's do a launch. We have a big hammer, Thor's hammer. I mean, if that's not copyright, I don't know what is, but, or trademark, whatever. There's a fancy noise. Okay. Really quick, not as quick as the 760 horsepower and 785 pound-feet of torque would suggest, but it is so ridiculous. The power is just a byproduct of course, a large battery with proper motors that can handle it. This is a dual motor EV. It does not have what the Hummer EV is able to be spec'd with, which is the tri-motor setup. The more I drive this, the more it just feels so, wow, torque steer, so excessive. When you have it in max power mode, which enables you to get that full 760 horsepower, I've got to wait for a gap. I'll show you in a second. The thing torque steers like an insane amount, and this is only really an issue if you have a heavy foot, you just bought the truck maybe, and you're showing off to your friends, wow, instantaneous torque. I mean, that's what you buy an EV for, but 50 kilometers an hour, and it just, you're fighting the steering wheel like a turbocharged Civic. I mean, let's do it again. It is just like, yanked me into the right lane. It's like a turbo Civic. It's like a turbocharged Civic with nitrous and no boost by gear and big fat sticky tires. It's the amount of torque steer in this is, it's like a hot hatch. That's what it feels like. But the consequences of 8,800 pounds are a lot higher. I mean, it's typical GM in how the inputs feel. The brake pedal is nice and short. It's firm. Regen's predictable. It's got enough brake as far as I can tell. The steering, pretty good. It's got a decent amount of feel. I would rather be driving a Yukon as far as driving dynamics go, just because it weighs thousands of pounds less. But if you put the steering in sport, I mean, the more input you give it, it's got a very progressive kind of feel to it and how it dials in the effort. For context, if you've been around a Rivian R1T, this is 16 inches longer than that. I mean, it's a big truck. It feels like it on the road, and that's good in terms of space. The one thing they've done here to fix that on the max range model is it gets rear steer. It gets that crazy crab walk feature too that we tried in the Escalade IQ, up to 7 degrees of rear steer. It takes U-turns like a boss, or in my case, I'll pull up the footage right now, instead of a 10-point turn, it was, I don't know, a 4-point turn. So it helps out a lot. It's integrated really well. When you're cornering, you don't really feel it, but where it counts, like in parking lots, it helps. And for the most part, it's quiet. There's not much road noise. And versus a Silverado EV, the Sierra EV gets acoustic laminated glass and a bunch more sound deadening. So it's a little bit quieter in here. This is, of course, a little bit more expensive, but it lives up to the GMC name, Denali especially. The seats are really comfortable. They are on the firm side, and this is not real leather. Unfortunately, I've seen a number of reviews online talking about how the Sierra EV Denali gets real leather and real wood grain. That's not true. It's right there on their website. It's a leather alternative. They don't specify. The display here in front of me and the touchscreen, this is awesome. This is pretty much straight out of the Yukon Denali, 16.8 inches for the center screen here, and it's got a ton of physical controls. They haven't put all the climate control in the screen, which is very welcome. Physical volume knob. You do control the headlights through the screen, which was the same in the Ford Expedition. A lot of vehicles are doing that. You have one pedal drive. But I mean, the center screen here, you can go from kind of a minimalist display to Google Maps taking up the whole display, because of course this is a Google-based system now, and it's just easy to use. We're not like bombarded with settings. The most important thing about the interior is the fact, unfortunately, that there is no Android Auto or Apple CarPlay with any GM vehicle. They're kind of phasing it out. So a little bit annoying. I can't change my music on the fly like that. But other than that, I mean, this system's awesome. It's just easy to look at. There's no gimmicks. There's no fancy colors. Like, it's so utilitarian, and it feels high tech, even though like there's nothing really crazy about it. The steering wheel's great. A few more physical buttons on here. Heated steering wheel, ventilated, heated seats. The glass roof, which is huge. It's UV protected. It's tinted if you guys are worried. This one, because it is the max range, fully spec'd out, does have the digital rear view mirror. Here we go, you guys, though. If you're buying a Denali and it had the expectation of reaching previous Denali levels of luxury and other models, you're not going to quite get it here. So the lack of real leather here is obviously the first indication. You don't have the option for massage seats. Of course, they have not brought out a Denali Ultimate for the Sierra EV like they have for the Yukon. Maybe that's coming, maybe it's not. But another example is like the fixed running boards here. In a lesser priced Sierra diesel or gas powered Denali, you would get power retractable running boards. Here they're just fixed. So most of your money is going to the battery and the range. Massive armrest. I mean, this is a massive vehicle. This can slide there, although it kind of, even though it's supposed to be locked in place, it's got a little bit of wiggle room. So that's, you know, a little bit of a refinement there. Could be handled, but you've got like a tray, and it's got a ton of storage. The back row is huge, absolutely huge. Overall, I mean, materials are good. The seats are awesome. They're a little bit on the firmer side, but in true Denali fashion, it's got 24-inch aluminum wheels, and actually the Denali script there is laser etched into it. Pretty cool. I mean, that doesn't help with the ride quality, but it still rides really well, and arguably, to some people, more importantly, it looks awesome. I mean, the solid grille, body color, which you get with the Denali package. You also get LED fog lights down here, of course. Thunderstorm gray, I believe is what this color is called. One of the best parts about owning an EV pickup truck, it has a frunk. 2 clicks on the key fob and it should open up there. And that's something that could be considered a gimmick, but it's just not. You can't argue at an EV pickup truck with a huge amount of space here. 11 cubic feet is a bad thing. Solid amount of space here. And if you want to tailgate, you've got cup holders, which is cool, and then 120 volt or 110, whatever you want to call it, up here. And it's even got a drain in case you get water in here. But I mean, this is huge. The biggest problem with pickup trucks is storage. You want to be able to store things, and you don't necessarily want to have, especially valuables, just left out in the cab. So you can do that. And then when you want to close it, there is a button nicely integrated there next to the front-facing camera that allows you to close it. If you do use the key fob to close it, you have to stand here and hold the button. So keep that in mind. Now, we'll come around to the tailgate, and here is where it gets good. Also, on a side note, so glad that GMC got rid of a lot of the Denali chrome. For the brand, this is as subtle as it gets, and frankly, I love that. It's got just enough of that flair, the biggest being the wheels. I don't know why I use the word flare. It's not Flare Airlines. It's like the worst airline that I know of. God, bad reviews. Good reviews here for the Sierra though. One button here, and that just unlocks this top version. Then you have to pull it down, or you can just let it fall, or you can click that and it nicely falls. It's actually like really light. You could even just let it fall from there, and it kind of has a soft close function. Like I said, about a 6-foot bed. Let's hop up here. Down here, we've got our outlet. So this has, if you get the additional power bank, I forget exactly what GM calls it, you can, or it will output, I believe it's up to 12 kilowatts. It doesn't exactly have a whole ton of like hooks or a track setup. A lot of that is optional as an accessory, but you do have a few hooks here. The biggest change is this mid-gate. You can get this as an option on some of the other models, the extended range. Let's see how it works. Okay, this is where it's at. If you're worried that a 6-foot bed is not enough, GMC has attempted to solve that for you. There's a learning curve to it. The first time that I undid this back glass, it almost fell and broke. So just know that this is 100% manual. There's nothing that just kind of folds down. When you're unlocking this, get ready to catch it. There is a little stopper there once you unlock these. And boom. There you go, you've got an extended bed. So by now you should know the Denali name comes with a price hike over all the standard models. It's the luxury trim, that's to be expected. The Sierra EV starts here in Canada, $80,000, and in the States, $65,000 US. This one fully spec'd out behind me, max range, 124,000 Canadian or $101,000 US. So it's a 6-figure truck. Now, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. The amount of power and torque and range that you get with a truck like this is pretty cool, but it's not all gimmicks. And that's a huge takeaway here. It's not just a cyber truck. It's also a little bit more desirable to me to look at than a Silverado. And I would say, if you're not towing all the time, this might be a good buy for a more dailyable truck. The mid-gate's pretty cool, but I mean, if you're towing all of the time, diesel's probably gonna be the way to go. And if you want your money to go further as far as luxury goes, then the standard gas or diesel powered Denalis give you more luxury features for the money. But yeah, the power is insane. The range is outstanding. You can't argue with that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I know EVs are a little bit polarizing, but I want to drive everything. I want to have a big picture of the automotive landscape at large. So thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.